It's high time you were shown that you really don't know all there is to be known. Born Theodore Zeus Geisel, Dr. Seuss, the children's book author, may not be seen as a historical figure. However, he was an important part of many childhoods all across America and the world. But what many people may not know of the rhyming mastermind was that he was a very political, historical figure. He made an impact on the perception of many concerning topics such as World War I, the Cold War, the Watergate scandal, anti-Semitism, racism, industrialism, and fascism. Among classics such as The Cat in the Hat, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and Oh, the Places You'll Go, he also penned political statements such as Yertle the Turtle, The Butter Battle Book, and Horton Hears a Who. Today, we will discuss Dr. Seuss's beginning in political cartooning, how his political views impacted his world and carried over into his writing, as well as the controversy over his work then and now. From a young age, Seuss drew and named unique characters, but he started creating political cartoons after the start of World War II. He began publishing his works in PM magazine based in New York. After a while, he decided that he wanted to help with the war effort for his country. He was too old for the draft, so they made him commander of the animation department, which produced political propaganda in short films. These were geared towards encouraging Americans to support the war. In turn, he wrote and produced advertisements and short films which propagated views of the Japanese and the Germans. Even after his run in political propaganda creation, his political messages carried over into his children's literature. For example, Yertle the Turtle is a story of a turtle king who becomes discontent with just ruling his small pond of turtles and sits on the backs of his turtle subjects to see more and rule more. In the end, his subjects were fed up with being taken advantage of and dethroned him. This was his way of railing against fascism and the regimes of Stalin and Hitler. Another example is the Butter Battle Book, in which he wrote about the Cold War in terms of two different groups of people fighting over butter, one on top of the bread and one on bottom of the bread. Because of the controversial themes of his writing, there were parents of children who contested the reading of his work in schools because they did not want their kids to be subject to the views and ideas of Dr. Seuss and the government. Today, there is still controversy over his books and his illustrations. Just last week, our nation's First Lady, Melania Trump, tried to donate a few of Dr. Seuss's books to a school, and the librarian rejected them with claims of their racist message. There is also an incident where an art museum has been forced to take down a mural featuring one of Seuss's early illustrations of a Japanese man in his books because of racist origins. Though Seuss amended his racist statements toward the end of his career by saying all men should be treated equally, there still seems to be controversy over his earlier work. Dr. Seuss was more than just a man with the talent of rhyme. He was also a great political activist. So I encourage you to take the time to re-examine every riddle and rhyme and see if you can find the political line. After all, the great Dr. Seuss once said, "The more you read, the more you'll know. The more you learn, the more places you'll go."